Hey YouTube, PD Two Finger here. I'm building a Marshall Super Bass preamp. So it's a Vero layout that uses jfets. Now, in the past, I've had really bad luck with jfets with ordering them. They'll arrive, they'll be stamped with an F, like Fairchild or whatever, and you'll look it up and it'll tell you the pinout, and that pinout is incorrect. So what you're getting is some other part, off-brand thing, and they've stamped it maybe to make it look like it's one thing and really it's another. Meanwhile, maybe it'll work, but you have to take the legs of the device. It's a three-legged device, so there's three connectors coming down, and you have to turn two of the legs around or flip it backwards and flip a couple of the legs. It's messy. One thing that I will do in that situation is you can utilize these. This is what we call a socket. So what I will do is I'll break off three of these sockets, okay, and then I will solder three wires onto the identical length wires. Meaning you prepare it nice, and what you end up with is a flip-flopper, and that's a socket. The socket is here. So here is one of these jfets. And if I were to go ahead and build the Vero and solder it in just like it shows on the layout, it won't work. And that's not because the guy who did the Vero layout was wrong. It's because I bought cheap parts that they lied, and they weren't really what they said. They were incorrect. So instead of being DSG, drain, source, and ground, it would be source, drain, and ground. So you have to flip-flop. So what you can do in that situation, if you're not sure your device isn't functioning, you can build one of these. Basically, you can ignore this part in here. It's just basically a clip to hold the active, to hold the transistor, and then three colored wires. So you can try on your PCB, typically, whenever you have one of these, you will install a set of three sockets. So, on the PCB, instead of soldering in the transistor, you solder in these sockets like this. See that? And then if you were to go ahead and plop this in there, and you very well could, like let's say these were longer, I hadn't cut them, you could take them and you could move those around yourself and just plop it in there. I find it easier to, and neater, to do the testing with a good amount of lead, meaning 3 or 4 inches. And then you can move those around. And then when you're done, basically what I do is I'll draw a picture of the transistor. I draw them like this. It's a square for the front, and then I try to represent a 3D thing so you can see how this looks in real life. This would represent the front, that flat side, and then I'll write, well, it's D S G. That's what it's supposed to be. The ones that we got are S, D, G. So then you figure, okay, this leg is right. These two legs need to be flip-flopped. Okay. So then at that point, by utilizing one of these things, a pencil and paper, I can figure out how I need to mutilate the transistor, bend the legs. And a lot of times guys will put some insulation on the one leg that's been around because it comes awfully close to touching the other leg. This is when DIY gets messy. I really don't like this. I really don't like it. I hate jfets. I really do. I love the way they sound. Now, there's another solution to this, which is buying surface mount technology, or SMT, SMD, however you say it, jfets, and then using a daughter board. So we're going to be taking a look at how I go through that process. I had made another video on this topic. Forgive me. I often remake my videos. So here we have the ingredients of what you need if you're going to do a surface mount. And they're tiny. They're tiny little guys. We've got, there's one here. There he is. There he is. So here is my hobby knife, and I've got this gum on here. This is called Bishop tape. Blue tack is another. This is actually for electronics. Bishop tape. It looks like this. I keep it on top of my soldering iron. There's a strip of it. Anyway, I don't use a real lot of it. I try to use it sparingly. But what you need is one of these adapter boards. So this here, you could maybe try to get a close-up on that. It says on it j201, and then it has 3 solder points. You can see here there's 3 solder points on this device. That's the device. That's the jfet. And then there's the solder points, and then there's these terminals to connection terminals. So the first step, and I am certainly no expert on this. I've got a Vero board here that's got a line of tape on it. So that's going to help to hold this a little bit. I'm going to stick it through the tape to hold it. And then I'm going to plop the daughter board on here, make sure that it's on the right side. There's 2 different sides. One is for J201, the other is for 2N5457, which, let's see, it says DSG and then DSG. From top to bottom, from left to right, DSG and DSG. So, yeah. Are those different? I would have to pin it out. I'm not sure. And by pin it out, I mean take the beep beep cont here. So let's do it. While I've got you guys here, let's pin it out. So the top one is that one. The left one is the left one. And the right one is the middle. So my suspicion is the middle is, yeah, they're different. The drain and the source are located in different positions on the actual SMT device. So that's interesting. Good to know. There still is margin for error even when you're dealing with these little guys. So what I'm going to do now, I've got my iron hot. I applied the flux, and I'm going to go ahead and solder it onto the... Now I'm going to put some solder on the pads themselves. And if you notice, I'm using 0.015 diameter silver bearing solder. I don't know where I got that. I didn't buy it. think somebody gifted that to me, or and anyway, they're when you're using this, I really like this idea because there's it's clearly labeled. There isn't much room to screw up as far as the pin out. So we went ahead and I went ahead and removed a little bit of the that excess flux that was there. And here's where I almost need another X-Acto blade, the one with the gum on it. Everything's wibbling, wobbling around. Which is not ideal. Now at this point I've got it right where I want it. Oh boy, I need another hobby knife. Oh, you know what? I can just pull the. Okay. Whose idea was to make a video of this? A little bit more flux on here. I suppose it wouldn't have hurt to put a brand new tip on. This tip is a little bit banged up, but all right. Now I'm gonna take some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Actually, okay, now I have that component tester in the other room. We could actually plug these into the tester-rooney. Where's my masking tape? Is it a good idea to tape this down? So there you go. That was the procedure for doing a jfet. I'm going to do the other one on a different camera and see how that looks. So we'll see you soon, and peace.